Hello, everyone. It is Samantha-Jayne Love here from Love Talk, and I'm so excited to have you with me here today. I am going to be speaking about the five love languages. So, some of you may know what they are, some of you may not, but it's come from this beautiful man, Gary Chapman, and he wrote a book called The Five Love Languages. Here it is, and he's gone on to write multiple books. And he's saying, what is this? What is this thing, five love languages? So there's five categories. There is words of affirmation, acts of service, receiving gifts, quality time, and physical touch. And we like to receive our love in a particular way. We also like to give our love in a particular way. It's probably pretty much coincides the same way, but some people really love to receive gifts, don't really like giving them, or don't really know how to give them. So I've really been looking into this love languages and how it sits within my scope of reality, because I can only speak for myself, or I can speak about interacting with some of my clients. That, it's better that we speak of ourselves and speak from our language, because, otherwise we're just assuming or misinterpreting it from somebody else, unless you are really mind reading that person. So Mr. Gary Chapman has got this book, and there's also, what I'll do is put a link for the website, because what you can do is do a little survey, and it will show you which is your highest love languages. So, and it's not to say that if one particular love language is our highest, that is it for us. Like, that's the only way that we will appreciate and receive love. I believe that, if we can be appreciative of love in all the ways that it gets expressed to us, that's a beautiful thing as well. So for me, I love touch. I love having my hair and I call it being petted. But, it just, stroking my hair, like, I really love that. And it's probably because when I was a little girl, we would go to my grandma's and she would pat our heads, or we'd do our hair. But it's a really soothing and comforting thing for me. And I love that. I love being able to, touch somebody's hand, all with consent. Now, this is a massive thing, because some people are like, I'm a hugger, and just go in for a hug, and, they don't have any consideration really for somebody's consent, whether or not somebody wants a hug. They haven't asked. They've just essentially gone over that person's boundary and just thrown themselves on them, which is not really nice, because if you're not wanting, or if you're not a touchy-feely person, that can be a little bit too much, and you could go into overwhelm and, set a whole episode of emotions. It could be that, someone used to always be pushed onto you. I know that, growing up, you were made to go and hug and kiss people that you didn't want to go and hug and kiss, because they were either stinky, or they would grab you in an inappropriate way, or, there's a multitude of things that would come up. So be mindful. If you are a hugger, say, is it okay? Do you mind? Especially now, we've got the whole 1.5 meter thing. Make sure that you're checking in with people, because it's a common decency these days just to check in with people, because sometimes if they're an empath, they've had a bit too much, they could be going through something, they could be in a process. There's a million different reasons why people do not want to be touched. And I know that everyone's like, oh, well, I'm from this part of the world and we do things this way. That's great. Still check in. Consent is a major thing these days, especially when it comes to touch. Quality time. That's probably a really big one. So we all have these things. These things take over our life. So if we're all sitting on their couch together and we're all on one of these, that is not what I refer to as quality time. Quality time doesn't necessarily have to be talking with somebody. Quality time is actually sitting and being there with that person. It could be that quality time for one of my daughters. She loves just sitting and sometimes we'll just hold hands. And she's quite happy with that. Sometimes they want to talk for a lot. And, it can be difficult. I'm a working mum, and they come home and they have 1,000 questions, and sometimes I will give them this thing, which is bad for their little brains. They get all caught up in it all. And then it's sort of detrimental because I haven't stopped to take that quality time. And I have to just remember they're only little for a little time. It's like I've just blinked and my 5-year-old is a 5-year-old, and then I'll blink again and she'll be a 14-year-old, and then I'll blink again and she won't even be living with us. So I really need to be mindful about the time and the quality of the time that we spend together. Likewise, when you're with your partner, how is that quality time? Are you really being present with the person that you're intimate with? Are you listening? If they're talking, are you actually really being open for what they're speaking about, or are you just thinking about the answer that you're going to give them? These are all things to take into consideration. Is quality time something that you really don't like doing? Be okay with if their quality time's going to the footy and yahooing and that's not your thing, that maybe you don't have to do that. But like most things, we can come into a relationship and have a bit of a contract. I don't like the word contract necessarily, but be open, have an open conversation about how you're going to spend your quality time and how much quality time is that person going to give you in a particular week. And, sometimes it's nice to have spontaneity, but in this fast-paced world, it's better to schedule in your quality time than to not have quality time, because that's a whole other spiral for another love talk, maybe. Now, receiving gifts. Right. It's a great one. But when you receive the gift, don't be an unappreciative little shit. Be appreciative. That person has gone to get you a gift and it's from their heart. If it may not be the thing that you were longing for, just say thank you. You don't have to say, oh, yeah, thanks. You could be really difficult to buy gifts for, but you really like them. But you're difficult because you have a problem receiving and just being in that gratitude. And really tap into that person. Just because somebody else buys somebody something doesn't mean that they necessarily like them. Really, have a bit of a research and go think. And if you're having quality time or you're speaking with that person, find out what it is that person would really love. And it doesn't have to be an expensive gift, because you may buy someone who's not really into diamonds a big expensive diamond ring, and that's just going to get the same reaction as if you bought them a I don't know why, but a stitching set is in my head. That may be that thing that fills that person with so much joy and love and appreciation. And if you buy them the latest, greatest stitching, whether it's cross stitch or long stitch or whatever they're into, that may be the thing that really sets them up. And that diamond ring is just going to sit on the shelf, not really be appreciated. Acts of service. Oh my God, this is a massive one. So acts of service is anything like taking out the rubbish, doing the dishes. It could be picking up the kids. Now, sometimes we want acts of service to be done, but we don't know how to ask and how to receive. So acts of service could be being done for us. Like if someone was to make dinner, right? But they made a big mess afterwards. That is not like, yes, it was a beautiful meal and the rest of it, but you've actually made more mess for somebody. So just do the act, but also have the follow through. So if it is like making dinner, just think about the follow through. Or if you're going to, take the kids for somebody, just, think about when you bring them back, or, just how you're doing things for them. It could be, everyone's different. So I'm talking in coulds, because you need to also just think about the person that you're doing these acts for. And if it's your intimate person, or if it's your kids or whatever, you're going to know, maybe not so much when they're teenagers, but you're going to know what they want and what they really need. And it's good to do this as a family as well, to find out what everybody else's act of service is. And if you can provide them with that service, it is just magic happens. The last one is words of affirmation. So I love words of affirmation, and I say them to myself a lot. I go around talking to myself. Gee, Samantha, this is da-da-da. I am a little bit crazy, but I'm also giving myself words of affirmation. So it could also be that if you were doing it for yourself, because, sometimes to give yourself what you need is a beautiful, beautiful thing. So that would, think about how you can provide yourself with any of these things. I'm happy to, open up a conversation with somebody as well if they were wanting to find out further about how to really find or explore after they've done their 5 love languages, about how you can bring these into your daily life and not expecting that everyone's got to feel your love languages as well. So if you are filling up your own cup, there's no expectation of anybody else delivering those things. Also on that, be open. Be open. Look at the people around you and look at what they are doing, not focusing on the shitty stuff that they're not doing, but look at the things that they are doing. And maybe make a piece of paper and put the different 5 love languages on the top of the paper, or get 5 separate papers. However your OCD wants to roll, whatever, it's okay. And look about the people around you and go, all right, where are these people? What are they doing in daily life? The good stuff. Please just focus on the good stuff, or the things that are helpful for you. What are they doing that fits into one of those boxes? If you've got a few people in your family, maybe just do the one piece of paper. Otherwise, you're going to be like crazy with the paper everywhere. Yeah, so just have a bit of I suppose a stock take about what you are getting in your life and that you have maybe just missed. Because when I've taken stock of the things that are coming into my life, it's really quite surprising as to where my love languages are actually being met. And if there is something within your love language, you've done the test and something like acts of service has come up, take a bit of stock on how you're being open for that to happen. Are you being open to receive acts of service? Do people know that they can actually provide the acts of service for you? Or is it that you need to learn how to ask for the acts of service to happen? Because sometimes if you've been a tough hard ass and you haven't let people do things for you and they've tried to do them and then you're like, I'll just do it myself because it's easier, then that flow of the acts of service may be cut off because I'm doing it myself. It's just a little reflective moment. So the reason why I'm talking about this today is because it popped up yesterday when I was speaking with one of my clients, and it's something that we do in Relationship Alchemy. We talk about the 5 love languages and how we can bring them into our lives as well. So we dedicate a whole week on, the love languages and how it can interact within our daily lives and what it actually brings into our lives. So it's really quite powerful, and it does take a little bit of time. And we give you a 30-day, I don't like to say 30-day program so that you can really bring these things into your life and set them for yourself so that you're bringing your own love languages into your life and filling your own cup. Sounds like it's hard work, doesn't it? But when you start doing it, it becomes effortless. It's ease and grace, and it flows. And you're also in training people how to do your love languages. If they see how you are doing them for yourself, they're like, oh, that's what that looks like. So when I was speaking with my beautiful client yesterday in regards to this, he was like, I don't know. And that's, when we come into relationship, there's a lot of normally there's a lot of passion. We go through our honeymoon phase, and then we may, life gets in the way. There could be kids, there could be work, there could be a lot of things. And if we haven't come into coupleship, however that is unfolding, and if we're not also filling our own cups up, it will be reflecting in the way that we have relationships. And we don't just have relationships with our intimate partners, with our siblings, with our children, with our parents. Do you go to work every day? Maybe not so much with lockdowns. But if you have an office that you go into, or if there's a team that you interact with, even if it's over Zoom or any of the other web-based platforms, how are you interacting with them? Do you know their love languages? And I know it's a bit weird to go, why do I need to know my team members' love language? It can just be nice. And if your team is running in effortless ease and grace, imagine what this well-oiled machine would be able to do for your productivity. So bosses out there, productivity. If people's love languages are being met, wow, it will really have an impact. It will have an impact on that person, will have a flow-on effect. There won't be disharmony in the workplace. There's so much time that is wasted in workplaces whinging and bitching about other people when they could be spending that time focusing on projects or focusing on sales. What about in a team? Essentially, it's a big family. And if Johnny in the back row, I don't know, sporting team, if Johnny's getting screamed at or is, being told what not to do, or if he's Maybe Johnny's thing is that Johnny just wants to, have a high five or something. And that may be the thing that sparks Johnny. High five, Johnny. Woohoo! Have you thought of these things? If you would like to know more about how having beautiful, flowing love languages in your life will expand your connections, increase your productivity, fill up your own cup, please reach out to me through the Love Talk channels out there. This has been a blast. It's really interesting just sitting here and talking with myself, really. So I am Samantha-Jayne Love. This is Love Talk, and this is the place and the platform where we get to explore what it is to learn how to love better, to bring passion every day into your life, and to raise the vibration to man and womankind, a humankind, across this plane of existence that we are on and beyond. See you again soon.